Hello, Buttercup. Welcome back to my channel. Today's book review is An Elderly Lady Must Not Be Crossed. And this is the second book of the elderly lady who is Maud, a 89-year-old lady that loves to murder people that are nasty, that cross her in a bad way, of course, or try to use her because they think that she's old and stupid, but she's not. She is very, very physical. She has her mental capacity at probably 100%, but she doesn't like when people assume that she is dumb, though she does use it to her advantage many times. So, you get what you get, and she just, she has some rules about how people should act, and if you're nasty, basically, then she's gonna take care of you. Now, I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars, and I'm gonna say that this is gonna I have it in what I'm gonna say in the back of my mind, and that made me laugh because there's not enough murdering in this novel. There was quite a few murders in the first book, and that's why I fell in love with Maud. Now, in this book, she is traveling to South Africa, and then she's also in South Africa on a safari with a little group, and there just wasn't enough. Wasn't enough. So that's why I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. But you know what? I think it's still good, and the ending was very sweet, though that is one of the main murders that we talk about. Then there is a possible, we don't know for sure, and Maud doesn't remember, murder, and then there is another murder that she does when she's way younger. So the first 2 short stories, or actually the first 3 short stories-ish, because there's flashbacks between present where she's traveling and then she falls asleep and she remembers stuff, and then we jump into the short stories of her older sister. I think Charlotte is younger because Maud has to take care of her, but she's an older sister. One of them is dealing with, but not killing, because she was young during this time, messing with 2 bullies of Charlotte, because Charlotte's not all there. She's very unstable. She doesn't know where she's at most of the time. She has a lot of mental illnesses. She can't take care of herself. So yes, when Maud sees Charlotte being bullied by these 2 boys next door, she does something. She doesn't kill them, but she does something, and it's pretty good. And then the actual murder is she's trying to get rid of a teacher that's mean to her, and she's taken her hours at one of the schools that she works at. Just off the teacher that has more hours than you, and I was reading that and I was like, how's this gonna work out? Because the setup was interesting of how she was gonna kill the lady, but okay, it works. Okay, yeah. And then the other short story of the past, before we get into the South African safari story, is about her sister Charlotte, and we're still unsure what happened specifically, and Maud doesn't know. And so that was interesting, though I don't know about that one. Here's what I loved about the first book, and I'm going to put this down because though it is a pocket size, it's still, the edges are really sharp because it's a hardback. But what I liked about the first novel was it is the last 2 are connected. And there's slight connections because it is like a timeline, first murder, second murder, we're going in order, basically. But it's not heavy on that, so it feels like they are, in fact, short stories. And I think the difference between the second book and the first book is the second book was created only because the first book and all those short stories were huge. And they were published in different places, and then they were collected together, whereas this was not published in multiple places and then collected together. You catch my drift? It feels like the short stories in the second book were mushed together, and it could have been just a short novel versus multiple stories that have slight tie-ins. But you can read them individually and it doesn't matter. You have to read this book from start to finish for it to make sense. I guess that threw me off a little bit. Also, the trip to South Africa was like the majority of this book. And we only get to see her murder one person. I mean, come on. So in the first book, she murders a bunch of people, and in this book, whatever, I think it's like just three murders. Oh, I don't know. I know Maud can do better than that, but it's the South African short story after she's done with the plane and done thinking and remembering about the other murders of her past. Or she's just going about the safari and kind of hanging out with people, and then at the end we get the murder, and it's about 265 pages. You wouldn't think it because it's so small, but yeah, it's 260 pages, and I don't know, that is quite some time from the last possible murder, and we're still not sure like what happened with that one, to actually the murder. And the guy was atrocious. He was horrible. I'm not going to say anything else because, you know, you should still read the book for sure because it's Maud. She's fantastic. And that was a deserved murder. Yeah, objectively, it was a deserved murder. And that was satisfying. And then the ending was very lovely. I like the ending. But like I said, I think it just is a different vibe. And the expectations were a little different. I guess I'll go with that word, different. Because the first book, you can really read those out of order. It doesn't matter. This is more like a novel. You have to, you know, start from the beginning. And you can't read this book first, you know, for whatever reason. Sometimes, well, not even sometimes, most of the time when we're talking about short story collections, you can read them wherever you want, in whatever order you want, but not this case. So that's why it's 4 out of 5 stars. But I really enjoyed this book also because I was looking at my Amazon wish list, and it was on there, and it dropped to $10.10 or something silly like that, and I was like, yes. So I broke my book buying ban for this novel, but it is originally like $15.99, which, okay, but I'll take it for $10.10, yeah, plus tax. So, but it wasn't even $11. It's totally fine. That is like me not going to Starbucks for 3 times. I appreciate when paperbacks or hardcovers, whatever, go on sale and I happen to see it. I'm like, yes, I'm gonna jump on that. So that's what I did, and forget what I say in any other book hauls or reviews or whatever regarding reading it in December. I read it in July, so I'm excited. Thank you very much. It has nothing to do with Christmas. No, wow. Okay, no, it does, because she's on a safari during Christmas Eve and Christmas, because she's 89, 90, and she has no other relatives, so she just goes on safari. Damn. That actually sounds nice, but it's really expensive. Like, she's a little, woo, she's got that money, so I'm gonna live vicariously through Maud. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day. Read, write, do some self-care. Maybe not murder people like Maud. I mean, that's her self-care, but I don't agree with that. So do something else. that mod would not do. I'll see you in the next video. Ta-ta for now.